Two Beers Tuesday.
And you have to help me out with my English.
Well, I'm glad we're not doing it in German. It wouldn't last very long.
First of all, disclaimer to all who listens, to everybody. This first episode of the Two Beers Tuesday will be recorded in English. So sorry in advance for my English, and welcome Max Rowe from the UK.
Cheers, Lawrence. It's much better we do it in English. Trust me.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Maybe you can help me with a little bit out with my English because,
No problem. I'll correct you.
yeah, thank you very much. So,
No, but I think I'm the one that needs help with the language here.
so thanks again for your time.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Actually, we haven't seen each other for quite a time, but now the last weeks were more.
Yeah.
Like, because you are more in Salzburg now.
Yeah, a little bit longer, a bit more free time. And yeah.
Nice. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about you, because where you come from actually, and why are you in Salzburg at the moment?
Yeah, funny one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I grew up in Colchester in Essex. It's kind of like just northeast of London, but on the coast there. And I got into windsurfing when I was like 16. Went to this amazing holiday to do windsurfing in Greece, in Vasiliki. And then, yeah, pretty much just focused on windsurfing from that moment I went there. So when I was 18, I did an instructor course and then turned professional in windsurfing at 21, and then spent 10 years pretty much doing the like full-time windsurfing thing. So doing all the events. And I guess that definitely links back to how I ended up in Austria, because I ended up at the Surf World Cup in Potsdam.
but it's crazy. I didn't know that you were starting in with 16.
I maybe so when I went on that holiday when I was 16, I could already get in the foot straps.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd done a bit. My dad was a big windsurfer, but he kind of stopped when I was born and got back into it when I was like 12 or 13.
Oh yeah.
And then yeah, from around that age, I was into it, but not like really into it. I kind of just did it because it was something my dad did, and we had some fun going down the local spots in England. You know, we're quite close to the coast, so there's good options there. But
Was there a special moment on this holiday trip to Vasiliki when you were 16 that you said, okay, now I'm hooked to windsurfing?
Yeah, so many special moments. But one evening watching some of the top guys that were there at the time, guys like Bubble, who I know you know, and Colin, Simon Hurry, Ollie Scott, these guys that were working at Club Vass at the time, watching them out in one evening session and doing the moves. I'd never really seen like freestyle stuff. I mean, I'd seen people doing Vulcans, like 180s and maybe a 360, but never like forward loops or shakas or anything like that. So that was probably a defining moment. Yeah,
that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, you were like following the windsurfing world tour for a couple of years. And how was it like to travel that much? Because windsurfing is like, you really need to travel a lot. You're not only traveling to the events, you have to travel in the winter time to train and stuff like that.
I mean, then, especially as I was younger, it was all I wanted to do was to travel to good windsurf destinations anyway. So it was like a good fit for me. It was amazing. I kind of started off by I was worked the summers in Greece. You know, it's kind of season air work, not great money. And then I'd go home, I'd work in a restaurant, do like as many shifts as I could whilst I'm living with my parents over Christmas time to save up to go on a windsurf trip somewhere. Then I'd kind of do that for a few months, go straight back into work in the restaurant, save up a bit of money, and then do the summers in Greece. So yeah, anyway, I was just looking to go to the best windsurf spots.
To get away,
Yeah.
And as you said, you were like also competing in Austria on the Lake Neusiedl events and on the World Cup there. And I think there was one special one, I guess, when you meet somebody.
Yeah, not one of my first events, but a lot later down the line. I think my first one was actually 2010.
Okay.
In Potsdam. It was my first ever World Cup event.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was really cool one. It was when Andrei Peskovsky was still competing, and it was a really, really good time. It was an amazing experience. But yeah, then of course, I ended up meeting someone who was living in Vienna at the time, and we have a daughter together now, and she's from Salzburg. And
now we get there.
Yeah, that's how I've ended up here.
Nice. Your first World Cup event was in Potsdam actually.
Yeah, first ever one.
And okay, now we have to speak a little bit about that, because I think
You would have been there competing also, no?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's a special thing if you start in Podersdorf.
Yeah.
It's like never have been to Sylt World Cup, but I think it was one of the biggest. Like what's around the crowd and the parties and like the
not quite as nice community kind of as the Podersdorf one, though. I'd say it's a lot more spread out and in a bigger town. Yeah, the Podersdorf one's pretty special.
Yeah, crazy parties there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you met your girlfriend there, and how did you meet? At the party, or is like how did this happen?
Yeah, at the bar there randomly, just a friendly kind of our paths crossed kind of thing at the bar. She was working in Vienna, full-time job for Red Bull Media House, but was helping her friends out and working at Mike's bar there.
Shout out to the captain.
Yeah, shout out to the captain. So our paths crossed then.
All right,
for the first time, yeah.
So, and then a little bit down the street further, it's like now you started traveling with her together, right?
Yeah. Well, we she went on sabbatical from her work that year we met, and I pretty much volunteered to take her around the world windsurfing wherever I was going. So I was when I was sponsored by North Sails Fanatic at the time. We did a lot of our testing in Maui, so I was spending about 4 months a year out there. So that was the first trip we went on together in October, November time. We did 2 months out there, and I taught her to windsurf in between testing the freestyle sails. I was sailing, testing prototypes with Goito, with our sail designer on the beach, and in between I'd go 100 meters downwind and then take her equipment back upwind so she could launch again. And yeah.
Nice. That's also a proving ground, I would say, for a girlfriend. Can she make a surf trip like this, or is it like?
It's a pretty good destination though, Maui.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, true. I mean, Cape Town's another good one. We spent a lot of time in Cape Town as well over the years, so we'd always do about 3 months out there in the winter. And Cape Town's more brutal just because it's more windy and you're getting
cold water.
It's not that nice if you're not a windsurfer. You're getting sandblasted on the beach and the cold water. But yeah, thankfully there's a good spot there where there's like a bit of an inland lake, so that's a nice setup, and the surfing's quite nice in the morning. And yeah, the windsurfing's can be absolutely brutal at times, but you're near a city and it's a nice place to be. So I carefully selected my my spots because I know exactly what you mean. It can be tricky. It can be also really stupid if you take a girlfriend on a windsurf dedicated spot somewhere in the desert.
I just say Sotavento.
Yeah, that absolutely never made that mistake.
It's like okay.
Yeah, you're getting the car door ripped off the hinges. It's so windy, you can't get the kit on the roof. You're digging sand out your eyeballs for the next week.
Yeah, honey, but you can lie on the beach and have a sun bath.
Yeah, and an exfoliation at the same time.
Yeah. Look at like a schnitzel.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. But as you said, like you were really working in Maui also. It's maybe we have to describe this a little bit because like I think it sounds like the endless summer thing. You just following the wind and the waves and everything like that. But you really worked there. You were developing the sails and the boards with these guys.
Yeah, just the sails actually.
The sails.
Yeah, I did a little bit of work on the boards over years, but my focus there was just on the sails. Yeah, So yeah, we had the work is light because it's, we're windsurfing and we're on the water, but you're out in all conditions, you're trying to get through stuff and you're trying to make decisions that actually have a big impact on the products that people are going to buy. So of course there's pressures, you want to get it right. A lot of the time, if you do it on your own, it's easy to doubt yourself, but we had a good setup there so we could, the prototypes weren't made there. But from Maui, if we got a design in on like we had a loft there also, which is like 10 minutes from the beach in Kahului. So we could make small adjustments, take it straight back out on the water, So you got long days there where, it's work. It feels like work.
It's hard work.
It's not really hard work, but you're already drained.
Yeah.
And then you're making small adjustments, not great conditions, going back out on them. But it was really cool. And we could get prototypes designed by Sunday evening. They get made in Sri Lanka and shipped back to us in Maui by Thursday.
Oh, really?
So we had quite quick turnaround. So And it was cool because at the time they had a lot of budget to make prototypes, and that was one of the things that changed over the years, is that as the sport got smaller, it's already a lot smaller than it had been when I was involved, but there was a lot less budget for making changes, whereas at that point when we were developing the sail from scratch, it was quite an exciting time I was involved at, because we could do 10 or 12 prototypes quite easily and take different directions and try some quite cool things. So
yeah, but as you said, of the budget, because this year Marco Lang, of course, you know him.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I met him in the winter time at Wolfgangsee, trying the new prototypes and things like that in the snowstorm, and like,
that looked wild.
The budget isn't where it was, maybe, because now you have to try them in snow in Austria and not in Maui with board shorts.
Yeah, although it looks like he's had a good time in Maui.
Yeah,
the last few
okay,
months.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, and all the brands have had to scale that a bit, but that changed a lot, because after I changed sponsors away from North Sails, and I was working with Simmer, we developed a sail from scratch also, and of course we prototyped it and had a chance, but we couldn't do quite as many as you felt like you really would have needed to get something perfect. And I think North Sails at the time, now Duotone, have always been good at putting a lot of attention onto the product, so they really make sure it's right. We had a great product with Simmer, but we had a good base design because I'd already designed the North Sails, so we had and the guys there know what they're doing. They'd already made good freestyle sails, so we made it work pretty quick. But
it's not only you have to be a good windsurfer to help out with the developing and the research, then you also really have to give a good feedback to the designers, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it is, and it's all quite subjective in that it's also, when it's just you doing it, it's a lot down to your personal preferences, and it's hard for it not to be, but you kind of...
I guess I would be a terrible developer, because I'm just taking the sail and surf and like, okay.
Yeah.
Works.
I know what you mean, and now I'm quite happy to do that also with some stuff. Maybe not the sails, because I've done the work on the sails.
True.
But yeah.
Yeah, and now what I'm really interested is, how is your life now? Because you're living... more or less sometimes in Salzburg, most of the time in Greece, and in between somewhere on the earth. And you have a family.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So how do you deal with this?
Well, I mean, to tell the story a bit, in 2020, our daughter was born here in Salzburg, so she's 4 now, and that was COVID times.
No schooling, so it's like easier.
Yeah, it's a bit easier now. Yeah. So COVID times was a bit different. It was all a bit crazy, but yeah, we've always wanted to. We enjoyed being here, but we always wanted to be in Greece most of the time. It's a lot for my work as well, because I've been running the Windsurf Center out there. So
that's what maybe is a missing link here. You're running one of the biggest water sports clubs, can we say?
Yeah, I'd say it's the biggest. I've never been anywhere that's bigger. Anyway, there's 330 rigged windsurf sails,
and that's in Lefkada Island.
Lefkada Island, and it's
Basiliki, the town.
Exactly, it's in the Ionian, So it's a huge operation. So I was running the windsurf side for a long time as a beach manager. Underneath a friend of mine, Ollie, who oversees the whole thing. And it's a big, we've got 25 staff on the beach. There's up to 170 people on the water some moments.
Wow.
So there's a lot of rescue boats on the water. There's a lot going on. Still a good a summer job. So that was always my focus, to be out. That was my job. That was my way of earning a living, and it allowed us to still be free to kind of travel. And then wing foiling kind of came around. I started 2020, 2021. I was already teaching it, and then in 2022 we set up the dedicated Wingfoil Center next door, and now I'm just involved with the wing foiling. Running lessons for that, and we have our
such
own
a good windsurfer is now operating the wingfoil. No, I get it. It's like the next evolution, of course, is like
it is a bit. I'd be lying if I said it was just a business opportunity, but I did see it as a it was a way to it's booming, it's like, and it's also, there wasn't many people doing it, so it was good for the guys that own the Windsurf Center already to open up this setup next. Kind of all made sense, and it's been nice to refocus on that a little as well.
But it's amazing, because I think there is no other water sports club, like Club Was it's called, where you're working. Like, it's famous. It's really famous in the water sports scene. Why do you think it is like?
think
So-
definitely amongst windsurfers, because there's been a lot of guys that did similar to what I did. A lot of guys before me, I followed in their footsteps that kind of competed on the world tour and had a bit of a presence on the world scene. It was infamous for the parties as well.
It seemed like if you are from the UK and you want to be good in windsurfing, you have to go to Club Vaz before you go to a contest or something like that. You have to prove yourself in Club Vaz, and then you.
It was really down. It went down that way a lot, and even like the guys now that are doing good in the freestyle, like George Grisley. He was one of our younger guys coming through the ranks.
I was also there.
Yeah, I taught George when he was like 11 or 12. I was teaching him how to Vulcan back then. So
He's looking so old.
yeah, he's not that old.
Really?
No, George is like 23.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Sorry, George.
yeah,
Don't know him in person, but but
Yeah.
like always he looks like, maybe it's the beard.
yeah. It could be. No, he does. Too much
Okay.
sun.
Yeah.
Too many good times. But yeah, no, it has been a bit of amongst the UK community. Club Vaz has always been a huge thing because they operated like a holiday package out of the UK where you get which is unique for windsurfing there in the UK anyway, where you get your flights, you get your transport to the spot, you get your windsurfing kit, and you get the windsurfing tuition, and it's all kind of bundled up into one. But it's changed a lot over the years, and now we're a lot more. I mean, Brexit hasn't helped, obviously, but now it's a lot more European. We're probably about 50% UK guests,
Okay.
and 50% of the rest from all over Europe.
And how much time of the year do you spend there?
About 7 or 8 months normally.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, sometimes longer.
So I think you told me that the season is already starting quite soon.
Yeah, so
When do you go?
well, I go in 10 days.
Oh.
But yeah, we open on around the 20th of May.
Okay.
Yeah, which is about a month later than we used to open, but it's a tricky one there. It's quite a short season because you need for wingfoiling it's changed because you need less wind, but to be a windsurf, kind of hardcore windsurf spot, you need kind of good wind conditions. So even though I know from the guys there at the moment it is good already, it doesn't make sense for the guys operating the business to open until May. So we run May the 20th until the end of September.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's a lot of setting up before and packing
course,
down,
yeah.
and when you're living somewhere like we do there, it's also really nice to have that time before you open, because we get to enjoy the island, and there's no people there. It's still weather's still great. So
What are the difficulties, or what are the things you have to think about now as you go there with a family than before when you went there with alone or with Valerie?
yeah, I mean very different. Yeah, before I don't know. You can just rock up somewhere. I feel like when you don't have a child, it's quite easy just to you can arrive somewhere, get on with it no matter what. And I got to say, like, the older Lola gets, the easier that kind of becomes also, especially as we're going back somewhere familiar. But yeah, the first few times we went back out there, it was I mean, you just need to be more prepared, pretty much.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would say that's the main challenge. It's just preparation. It's not that difficult. Certain things were daunting, like especially when we travelled out during the COVID year in 2020, we couldn't get the ferry across from Italy straight to Igoumenitsa because the ferry just wasn't running. So we did 3 days driving. We went through Slovenia, Croatia, Serbia, Bulgaria, into northern Greece down that route with like a 4-month-old baby, and we felt like okay, but we needed to get there, so you just kind of get on with it. But that was definitely a hell of a journey, especially traveling with all the baby
imagine.
stuff for those days. Yeah.
You need something on the roof and in the back, and
The roof box. It's a key kit. Let's keep it a kit when you're traveling with a baby. Yeah.
Nice. And you already told us that you were traveling quite a lot, and of course Cape Town, Brazil, and Hawaii, and stuff like that. What's your favorite place for windsurfing? Just if you go there alone for a trip, it's like
I'll go to Maui.
you go to Maui.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, there's probably better places I haven't been, but in terms of like quality of conditions, I think for windsurf wave riding especially.
Okay.
It's hard to beat. You've got Hookeeper's always pretty good. Yes, it's busy, but it's a high quality wave. Yeah,
Okay,
there's good options there, I think.
Yeah, you told me before that you're not that often going back to the UK, but do Do you have a feeling for the UK surfing community, or
Yeah, definitely. I think although I haven't maybe been there so much,
because
for a
it's
long
also
time.
really good. I saw so many good things
Yeah,
from,
there's
from the UK, especially in the
we've got
winter
some
time.
great spots. Yeah. No, there's some good, and you know, a lot of the guys I've been working with, teaching as well as like customers. Like it's been a big UK community, so I kind of feel that I do know it pretty well, and I do make an effort, especially more when I was competing professionally. I'd always go back and do events in the UK as well, and do little bits there. So I've had a chance to travel around and experience some of the best places there. You know, down in Cornwall, we've got some amazing like wave riding spots. It's a really good bit for freestyle also on the south coast.
That's really on my bucket
Yeah.
list. I really
Yeah.
want to go to the UK, maybe also Ireland.
Yeah,
To-
I'd love to go. I've never been to Ireland.
You have never been?
No, I've got it on my list. I've got a trip planned in the future there. That's
Let me know, please.
it's right
because
up the top of
like
my
this
bucket
is
list.
something
As well.
also for surfing, as for
Yeah.
like, I think it's really good because
Mhm.
you also go surfing, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and to be honest, I looked for that a lot in trips. As I progressed through my windsurfing, I was also looking at places that were really good for surfing, and I don't know, looking back on it now, I probably could have put a bit more energy into my windsurfing that I actually put into the surfing, because it really like got a grip on me. And I was getting later in my windsurfing career, I was kind of, I don't know, I reached like maybe a bit of a defeatist kind of attitude where I didn't really feel like I don't know, I kind of accepted where I was at and then kind of stopped maybe pushing so hard.
Yeah.
And which is a bit of a regret on it looking back, but it was just the reality of the time. And I feel like I'd learned from that now, but I kind of I'd really focus on the surfing, and I'd be, up every morning surfing. Of course, once you've been surfing for 3 hours, you're probably not that fit to go do a really long windsurf session afterwards. So, but yeah, I'll always look for places that are good. We've got good
both,
waves as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
That's the hardest thing because I was also looking for places to go windsurfing and surfing, but it's normally it's not the same place.
Greece isn't one of them.
Greece isn't one.
No, which is yeah.
Yeah, but except Hawaii, there aren't any, not much places. I would say it's like maybe Mauritius, but then I think it's like where
Yeah.
surfing and windsurfing combines. Because if you want to go surfing, there shouldn't be wind. So like,
Yeah.
okay.
Cape Town, when you're there for an extended period, you get lots of good sessions. But looking at it now for what I want, if I went back to Cape Town to do a trip, I've been avoiding it for a few years because I don't, just for like logistics, driving around in the car, I didn't think it was a good place to be with Lola when she was younger.
Yeah.
So that was tricky, but it's windy a lot as well, like just for a surf trip for like in a month, you could really get unlucky. But we had loads of good surfing times there over the years. Like,
But I was talking with somebody, I can't remember, but this year in Cape Town, I saw so many. I know I think it wasn't the windiest year, but I saw so much freestyle footage, but not much wave footage.
Yeah, I think they had a really flat kind of season. I also followed that a little bit because I get really jealous looking at the footage from there.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
are they still just freestyling on the lake and nobody is going to the waves nowadays, or is it like was it just like flat? Or
Yeah,
the
look,
windy-
I've got a lot of friends that were there.
Yeah.
And, I do ask them, but it's hard. It sounded like it was just one of those years where it was really up and down.
Okay.
So they didn't get loads of, there the battle is for a good wave day. You need the wind combined with the waves. And especially January, you'd expect that all the time. That is
Normally, yeah.
not the time to go there for surfing. Great time for windsurfing. But it looked like it just didn't really line up much.
Okay.
Yeah, but Cape Town's great if you ever get the chance to go. I would love to go back. But
I was there twice, but
you were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cold water,
Yeah.
the sharks.
Yeah.
Just like I never saw one, but it's like in my mind when you lose the equipment and you have to swim and stuff like that. Like, suddenly, I think like,
Yeah.
is there something under me? It's okay. Dun, 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 dun,
I
dun,
know
dun.
what you mean. I know what
Yeah.
you mean. But it's such an irrational fear, isn't it?
Yeah,
But it's there.
yeah. I think we have so many more accidents with avalanches and stuff like that, and
Definitely.
yeah,
Car crashes on the way to the beach, a lot more likely than to be lucky enough to be eaten
getting
by a
ripped
shark.
off
Yeah.
in the parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, all
Stuff like
that.
that.
Yeah. No, we've tended to pick locations since Lola came along that are that make life easy. You know, I've been to Brazil a lot over the years. I knew the setup there. We've got our kit rigged up on a spot on the beach. There's no driving. You're just on foot,
Yeah.
straight out the house, you know, in shorts, nothing to pack. You don't even need a wallet because you can just set up tabs at your favorite
Oh, really?
places pretty much. And
But it wasn't
your kit's
Cherry,
rigged to the
was it
beach.
Cherry?
Yeah, Jerry
Cherry?
Kokwara, yeah.
Okay.
You know, kits on the spot, so you don't have to rig it up, you don't have to set up. You can kind of maximize your time on the water
That's good.
rather than driving around to different
Yeah,
places.
that's another thing in Cape Town. If you're alone or just with the boys, that's maybe fine. But
Yeah.
driving around, searching the wind, searching the waves, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But like in Cape Town, you can spend a lot of time in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Useless. Yeah, but what I experienced by my own is like I also had this feeling on windsurfing when I was like not feeling it anymore. Let's say like freestyle windsurfing was like not making fun. Then I started surfing.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment now, I got back a little bit, and I'm so motivated in windsurfing now again.
Mhm.
It's like I haven't been this for ages.
You need that like refocus, don't you? And like you get like it's normal, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Just
think
to
you
go
need the
through
distance,
waves of interest.
and then
yeah.
and then like yeah, okay, yeah. Now it makes it really fun again, and it's
Yeah.
good to be in the water because back then I was like trying the same move for the
Yeah.
one
Gets
millionth
tedious,
time and
doesn't
like
it? Yeah.
stupid, and now like with some mixing it up, old school and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
No, for me as well, it made a big difference when I actually stopped competing. Like how much more than I started enjoying it again after a little break, because you're kind of when you're competing and it's your job, you've got high expectations of yourself.
Yeah.
Like even though you go out there to enjoy it every session, you still want to be landing something good, and you're comparing yourself to other people. Whereas, you know, after 10 years doing the tour, having that cut from like, right, it doesn't matter anymore. I just go out windsurfing when the conditions are good, and I've enjoyed it so much more the last few years since I stopped competing than I did the last few years when I was competing anyway. Earlier on, I was enjoying it a lot more, but yeah, the last few years, I definitely wasn't enjoying it as much as I could have been.
I was feeling so sad. I'm not sure if you followed the last Wave World Cup in
Chile?
in Chile.
Yeah.
And now everybody was like the rankings are out, and first, second, third, blah blah. And the top sailors who didn't win, but like posting on social media, or like they have to apologize. So I wasn't on my best. But like I think we didn't do this back then. It was like we had a good time there, surfed, and now everybody is like apologizing for not being first, or like it was like I didn't get the waves and I wanted to, and hey, come on man, you're in Chile, you had sick conditions there. Didn't you enjoy it?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I don't know if that's like a mixture of sponsorship pressures from people, you know, when support is like quite limited in windsurfing these days, and obviously they get more promotion the higher up the rankings they are, and just a bit of a I don't know, it's a bit of a, you see the same thing with the surfers also, they're competing on the World Surfing Tour. I feel like they also would say not my best result, or I don't know, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's also like everybody's now in this kind of 5 a.m. club and getting up early, training. Of course, it's professional. I get it. But back then it was like a fun sport, and you impress yourself because it's freestyle. It's like, and now it's like, okay, I wake up, I drink this shake, I go to the gym, I go surfing, I eat this, and where's the fun?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, definitely people are taking it more seriously all the time, but I think it's also like a bit of the overall picture, and that the deal's a lot smaller and there's not as much money in it, and people probably feel more feel very fortunate to have deals at the moment, I would imagine, because it's really not easy for the guys. So, you know, all the way along, I'd say there was a lot of guys working very hard, even if they didn't like post about it online. But I think probably a lot of people that were working really hard back then also would have been embarrassed to post about it online, like how much they were working, you know. But like they say now,
switching around.
You know, that's now like you say with the 5 a.m. club, it's a bit more of the scene, and to be seen doing all that hard work, and the way social media has evolved in that time, you just catch a bit more of a glimpse of it, I think.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing.
Yeah.
Just a short thing about wingfoiling. You're teaching it, and Do you think it's easier to learn than windsurfing, or would you recommend if somebody has no experience at all with water sports, is it easier to learn windsurfing or is it easier to learn wingfoiling?
It's 100% easier to learn wingfoiling.
Yeah,
Without a shadow of a doubt. Windsurfing is like to get to the point where, you're really enjoying it, it's a bit of a, it's a big commitment. I mean,
yeah,
I always, when I do my, do a bit of a speech where I'm working on the Monday morning for the guests to try and sell the wingfoiling lessons, and I always refer to windsurfing as like a life commitment. I'm like, don't worry, wingfoiling's not another life commitment like learning to windsurf is. Like,
just a holiday romance, maybe.
Yeah,
something
exactly.
Like that.
You can do a few sessions here and there. Windsurfing's great because it attracts like a real kind of like people that are really keen to progress, and once you get the bug for it,
Punish themselves a little bit.
Incredible, but but wingfoiling will pick up more people simply because it is so much easier to learn. You can get to the point where you're having fun quicker, so you don't run that risk of like getting bored of it before you're at the at the point where you really enjoy it, which is what happens, I feel like, in windsurfing quite a bit.
And what do you prefer, to be really honest? Windsurfing, wingfoiling? To be honest.
It depends on the conditions.
Okay. Yeah.
But I am really motivated for the wingfoiling at the moment.
Yeah.
I've got to say, most of my best sessions in the last year have been wingfoiling sessions. I still have some great days windsurfing, but I'm not really interested in windsurfing unless it's 6x4.
Yeah.
As a minimum, really.
But you're still enjoying freestyle, or then you want to go into the waves?
Because of my situation and where I've been, I'm still enjoying freestyle. I haven't windsurfed in the waves for years. I mean, in Brazil we get a few waves, and I've done quite a few trips there the last years. But it's not that good a wave for windsurfing. It's a much better wave for wingfoiling because it's quite soft. You don't get much back from it. So, I don't know. I'd still say if it's over 30 knots, I'm going windsurfing. And a lot of the days that it's less, then I'll be very happy.
And if it's less than 10 knots, then you go surfing.
Yeah. not in Greece, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be ideal.
Now we have so I came up with this category. It's like, I called it overrated or underjudged, but now I have an English speaking person. I think underjudged isn't really appropriate. This should be underrated, isn't it? Like that?
You called it underrated or underjudged?
Yeah, is it like?
Similar.
Is it okay to say underjudged?
It's not that common phrase. No, I'd say underrated is very common.
Yeah, it's like because I called it like overrated or underjudged, and then I was like, I think underjudged isn't really a.
I'd just be underrated, overrated or underrated.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Okay, but so you give me your opinion on if it's overrated or underrated. Mm-hmm. Traveling, like your whole life, the last years, is it like the thing endless summer really overrated or is it underrated?
Oh, that's such a tough one because does it have to just be one answer or can I elaborate?
No, you have to answer, but you can explain.
I'll elaborate first a little bit because there's lots of pros and cons.
Okay.
Obviously changed a lot when we had a daughter because you kind of feel that need to have a base. And you need to be set up somewhere, otherwise you're traveling with everything you have everywhere you go. And there's a lot of pressure on that as well, especially if you've not got a base where you can stay all year. Like for us in Greece, you couldn't really live in the same place in the winter because it's all summer houses. And then our other options were with either Valerie's mum here in Salzburg, and it's a little bit close being with the Schwiegermutter all the time, the whole year, Schwiegermutter, the entire year. As helpful and nice as it is, it's like you don't want to do that the whole time. So you kind of feel that, you definitely feel that need to set up a base more. But then the upside of it is you just get amazing opportunities to be around. And I feel like we were really careful to kind of create a life where we could have as much of the best of both as we wanted, because even though we've been in Salzburg quite a bit the last few winters, we've still done trips to Brazil each year. We've still been in Portugal for a month, but that comes from not committing to having too much of a base. As soon as you're too set up somewhere and you have those bills to pay, especially somewhere you can't rent out, then you're kind of stuck there. But I don't know. I'd think it's to judge it like underrated or overrated, I speak to a lot of people and they're like, wow, that's amazing. You know, like I think people do rate it quite highly.
Yeah.
So, but from my, I don't know. Then it's hard to say if it's underrated because
You're still enjoying it, but it depends on what you have to.
for me, I still enjoy it because even though I did crave a bit more of a base and being settled, I still wasn't quite ready to be here the whole time, you know. But that's also my work situation because I needed to be in Greece to do the work and earn a living, and so I'd say I'm still no closer to telling you if it's overrated or underrated, to be honest.
It's rated, but
It's rated.
but-
I rate it highly. I rate, for me,
Yeah.
what I rate it as perfect because I'd spent the 10, 15 years before just moving around the whole time. So I never wanted to just be stuck anywhere. So, but that being said, it's like circumstantial because for some people, if you have that then set up where you're kind of based somewhere all year round, then that gives you the freedom to do quite nice holidays, you know, as well in between, and to go to Bali for a month or do 2 weeks over Christmas. And then, here you've got all the skiing. So or snowboarding, you're already set up for that. So I haven't answered it. I haven't answered it.
Okay. Okay. We will go on.
It's underjudged.
It's underjudged. Okay. This one we already worked a little bit, but it's like surfing, like really paddle surfing. Like, is it like you think it's overrated or underjudged? Because everybody, I think now I have to explain it a little bit, my thoughts about it, because surfing, everybody is now like really hyped on surfing. Even it's the lifestyle and surfing, and if you look on the spots everywhere, it's crowded everywhere. So it's really overrated, maybe.
Yeah,
so
I fully agree.
So like, but in your opinion, like if you have the surf feeling, really the feeling to ride a wave, is this feeling overrated or underjudged?
The feeling to ride the wave.
Yeah, like the surfing feeling, not the whole thing around it, but it's like built around in Bali, maybe. Like
I think the feeling itself is maybe underrated. Like
still,
I think so. But I know what you mean. I feel like there's also a lot of hype around surfing, and you see, but it takes a lot of punishment to get to a point where you're enjoying it in surfing as well. So you see a lot of people out there doing the beginner thing, committed to it, and I respect that a lot because you've got to go through that to get to the point where you're having fun. I still feel like some of the best moments I have on the water are some of the waves I've had last year, surfing. Even though I only did the one trip, I can still like almost picture the wave that I was on and that feeling and that one good turn. And
it's also weird how long a wave feels in your head. Then if maybe if you filmed it, it's like 10 seconds. And you imagine like, I was like doing this, turning down and like, and then you see the footage. Okay, I'm not Kelly Slater.
Exactly. I'm excited for that surf park opening in Munich, though. I think that'll be interesting. I'd love to get on one of those. They've got a few. They've got one in the UK, but in Bristol. But I've never made it over to it. But I've had a few friends said it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I already. That was my Christmas gift to my almost whole family. Everybody got a voucher for the Munich park.
Oh, cool.
So I hope they will open soon.
They've said they're opening in the spring, haven't they?
Yeah. So
that looks like a really good technology, though. That would be a great option from here, I think.
Yeah, but they already claimed something like let's say they have 3 different difficulties, or and the last one, like the point break or whatever they call it, they just put it on for a show maybe, or if the pros are coming. So it's not like
I got that impression because it looks like it would take over the entire length of the pool, wouldn't it? So it'd only be for that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Parties at contests like back in the days, this is like overrated or underjudged?
Overrated, probably. Until you finish competing anyway.
Maybe many stupid nights out there. Huh?
Yeah, definitely. But I actually had one of my best results my first year in Fuerteventura. So straight after I was in Poddersdorf in Fuerteventura. Again, you were competing now, I'm sure.
I have
2010, I came 11th, I think, and we did 2 double eliminations. So it was like quite...
So it wasn't luck?
No, it was the drink.
Like really, like you have to prove yourself.
The night before, I also kind of had written off my chances sometimes. Went out for quite a few drinks a night, like late into the night. sailing at 8 in the morning, first heat the next day, Davy Sheffers. I was like a massive underdog, managed to win that one, and then did like 4 more heats to come 9th in that elimination.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so had some good times after partying. Not so much in Pottersdorf when you got to wake up at 5, 6 a.m. and it's freezing.
The crazy. Yeah, maybe Sylt even, but I think Pottersdorf had the craziest wake-up calls sometimes.
Definitely the craziest,
and
by far.
It's still dark outside. We can go, sir.
Yeah. No, that happened from one time where they missed an hour and a half from like 5 in the morning because the judges didn't call it. And then it felt like for the next 10 years, everyone had to suffer a 5 a.m. wake up call just because Tom Hartman missed it one day.
That sucks. But did you hear it? I think this year there isn't any surf competition in Pottersdorf.
I did, because I follow what comes out from the Freestyle Pro Tour, and they said that they couldn't secure an event, even towing.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. Right?
Yeah,
I wrote Adam Sims.
Yeah.
Here, Adam Sims. I wrote you on Instagram, and you didn't reply because I was asking what's going on there. But,
yeah, I'm sure he had a lot of questions about it because it's kind of a staple, wasn't it, of the freestyle scene to do Pottersdorf.
Crazy. I'm not sure if Pottersdorf missed maybe out during one of the COVID years, but otherwise, I think since I don't know, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
But there was every year a windsurfing competition.
That's tricky, isn't it? It sounds like a bureaucracy thing because they're so dependent on the funding, aren't they, from the local governments and where they're willing to put the money. So it sounded complicated with the mayor in that region, and
that's true. But
where they wanted to.
Anyway,
put
I think it got really bad when it moved from Pottersdorf to Neusiedl.
Yeah,
I think it was really bad.
Yeah, I only did that once, but I didn't end up competing there. But
actually, I was there 2 years ago because they invited me as a commentator.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I was just sitting on the beachfront and was commentating the towing. Stuff like,
nice.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
He did something.
But Neusiedl was a good family spot, I feel like. It's a cool location for that, but it's not like in Pottersdorf where you got the party tents on the beach and everything. That was amazing when it was like that.
Yeah, I think the problem in Neusiedl is that's like the road is like going from, how do you say, inland to the lake.
Yeah.
And in Pottersdorf you have the whole beachfront. Like it's more, you're always walking on the beach. And the beachfront in Neusiedl is really small. But
yeah, true.
It's not. The last overrated, underrated question is road trips, exploring new spots. Do you say like it's good exploring new things, or like it's better to go to places I know?
For me, it's probably underrated and something I should do more. But that's one of the things I think with having a 4-year-old now is that you kind of feel a lot better going to somewhere you know. So we have done trips to places we wouldn't, that we didn't know, maybe just to Portugal. So it's still kind of in Europe and fairly safe. But I think it's a cool thing to do, isn't it? I think generally it's underrated, isn't it? But it kind of feels like in this age that there's a lot lesser known spots because everything gets posted about, everything gets seen, ends up on social media.
I think actually you're completely right with this point, but I think it's also like it depends on how much time do you have.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go spend a lot of time on the water, and if you have like 5 weeks holidays or something like that, then like I don't want to
risk it.
2 weeks in a car and surf.
Mm-hmm.
Not that
much.
much.
No, definitely. Yeah, it depends on how much time you've got for sure.
Yeah, and I wanted to mix it up a little bit, but as time moving on, another category. It's like, would you rather? And I'm not sure if you were in this actually. Do you know the plate dance club?
Yes.
Plate dance.
Yeah.
Have you been in there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I found a video.
I'm probably in it.
I'm not linking it.
You can do.
Yeah. Okay. For everybody, maybe I put the link down in the description. But it's like you can find it on YouTube. Club Was Plate Dance 2008. It's really funny.
I'm in that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure because back then the video quality wasn't that good, so I couldn't do on high quality. Would you rather do the plate dance again or go surfing in Uluwatu in Bali with a Speedo pant?
Ooh, to the chance to surf Uluwatu, I'll probably do that in the Speedos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do. Just for the record, though, I did the plate dance last year.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
It's still a thing.
We still do it. Yeah, we don't do it when we're careful. So to explain it a bit, where I work in Greece, we do like a clavas. We do these entertainments on a Friday night, and the play dance is a bit of a legendary thing where we get baby oiled up. You put your bits in a rubber glove. You tape it on with electrical tape. And
You still
do a
help
dance.
each other out, because it's really in this video where I'm not sure if
Oh, yeah.
Bubble was fixing with a tape the.
Yeah. I mean, you get a bit self-sufficient after you've done it for, but
Okay.
there are guys that still help each other out. Yeah, it's become a bit of a, it's a culture thing there. It seems pretty out there, but it's like for the new guys as well on the team. It's like it sounds a bit weird, but it's like a team bonding thing, and they're part of the whole thing once they've done a plate dance and. Yeah.
I think
we still do the performance. I did.
Everybody should look it up.
Yeah, I did it.
Plate dance.
It sounds
Plate
weird.
dance.
Half naked, oily plate dance.
It's so funny in this video. I don't know, the other guy, he was like standing back there and still rubbing up the baby oil, and himself is like, hey, we have to go to the stage. Okay, yeah.
There's a lot of funny behind the scenes stories from those nights. Yeah,
I can imagine. Would you rather never go windsurfing again or never go wingfoiling again?
Oh,
Now we get the real answer.
oh, that's such a tough one, Lawrence.
You can't say surfing. No.
I can't. In this moment, with what I feel like my focus is on, I'd probably say I'd rather never go windsurfing again.
Oh God, terrible.
I'm sorry. But I've got so much excitement for the winging and the tricks I want to learn and what I want to do with it. With the windsurfing, I can do the moves. I'm not really trying to learn anything new. I try and push myself a bit, but I'm mostly just happy doing the stuff I do, which I love doing. But like with the winging, I've got
Going along and
I've got more of a motivation.
okay,
for,
yeah.
So
Fair
I'd like
enough,
to
fair
keep
enough.
that like excitement and motivation.
And as you said, of course, you're living quite a lot of the time in Greece. Eat chicken souvlaki or baked beans like an English breakfast every day?
Chicken souvlaki. 100%. I hate baked beans. Yeah, easiest question.
Okay. And the last one, teach your girlfriend windsurfing by yourself or ask a buddy?
Ask a buddy. Although I did it the hard way.
Yeah.
And it was okay, but you need to do it early on in your relationship. You don't want to leave that kind of thing too late.
But when you are not arguing that much.
Definitely.
So like
Yeah.
showing yourself from the best side is like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
okay, I can't complain that much.
Yeah, early days.
Early
I did
days.
it very early days, and it was fine. But even now, I give her, one little tip, and
I know it.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, Max, we're already almost 45 minutes through. Thank you very much for your time. It was a
Cheers,
pleasure
Lawrence.
having you here.
Yeah, great catching up. Cheers, man. I've drunk
Thanks.
all mine.
Cheers.
Great beer. I love this stuff. You guys are very fortunate here.
That's what we want to hear.
Yeah. No, but seriously, this stuff's like, to have that as like a local brewery like here, it's incredible. And for the price you can get it at.
I will show you later on a little tattoo.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, you I've seen it. You got the steps, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't commit it now.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Cheers.